All right. I don't even got to talk this much during this one. I'ma just fall back and just like talk in the background. This is Senator Kane talking to Pete Hegseth during the confirmation hearings, and it gets real, right? It gets real, and I'm gonna be talking in the background because I don't want to interrupt. It'll be sort of like ad libs, and yeah, let's get it.
Thank you, Mr. Hegseth. I'm looking forward to this opportunity to talk. I want to return to the incident that you referenced a minute ago that occurred in Monterey, California in October 2017. At that time, you were still married to your second wife, correct?
Come on now.
I believe so.
And you had just fathered a child by a woman who would later become your third wife, correct?
Senator, I was falsely charged,
Hey,
fully
you-
investigated, and completely cleared.
So you think you were completely cleared because you committed no crime? That's your definition of cleared? You had just fathered a child 2 months before by a woman that was not your wife. I am shocked that you would stand here and say you're completely cleared. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife and cheat on the mother of a child that had been born 2 months before, and you tell us you are completely cleared? How is
Senator-
that a complete clear?
Right.
Senator, her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth, and she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
Respectfully,
And she was,
glad
and
no one
she's here.
you
cares about the
cheated
child's
on
name.
the mother of that child less than 2 months after that daughter was born, didn't you?
Those were false charges.
Pause.
Well,
I
no,
was fully investigated,
Pregnant
and I
pause
was
is
completely
crazy.
cleared. And I am so
you've been-
grateful.
and
Run
you've
it
been
back.
married.
That was a
Let's-
pregnant pause.
Senator, her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth,
Oh, so, all right, whatever.
and she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
And she
I'm
was,
glad
and
she's
you
here.
cheated on the mother of that child less than 2 months after that daughter was born, didn't you?
Those were false charges.
Well,
It
no,
was
do-
fully investigated, and I was completely cleared. And I am so
you've
grateful
If that's
for the
true,
marriage I
it
have to
don't
this
matter.
amazing woman behind me.
You've admitted that you had sex at that hotel in October 2017. You said it was consensual, isn't that correct?
Anything,
You've admitted that it was consensual, and you were still married, and you just had a child by another woman.
again,
How do you explain your
completely
judgment?
false charges against me,
You no,
fully
wait.
investigated, and I was completely cleared.
You have admitted that you had sex while you were married to wife two after you just had fathered a child by wife three. You've admitted that. Now, if it had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
It was a false claim then and a false claim now.
If it had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
That was a false claim.
So you
Talking
can't,
about a hypothetical.
so you can't tell me whether someone who has committed a sexual assault is disqualified from being Secretary of Defense?
Senator, I know in my instance, and I'm talking about my instance only, it was a false claim.
But you acknowledge
And it
you
was
cheat, but
fully
you acknowledge
investigated.
that you cheated on your wife and that you cheated on the woman by whom you had just fathered a child. You have admitted that.
I will allow your words to speak for themselves.
You're not retracting that today. That's good. I assume that in each of your weddings, you've pledged to be faithful to your
Yo,
wife.
he's-
You've taken
he's
an oath to
going
do
in
that, haven't
right
you?
now.
Senator, as I've acknowledged to everyone in this committee, not a perfect person, not claiming to
But
be.
no, I just asked a simple question. You've taken an oath like you would take an oath to be Secretary of Defense in all of your weddings.
Hold on, I'm gonna stop it. So, number one, I want everybody to go watch these. Right, this is like, it's a 4 hour and 51 minute joint. Some of them are boring, but some of them are spicy. This one is real spicy, and Senator Kane is asking wild questions. Number one, you might not have known that Pete Hegseth is on his third wife, right? You might not have known that he had a child while he was pregnant with his second wife. You also might not have known that his mother has basically spoken out. And you can look this up. His mother has spoken out and called him an abuser. So he's abusing women. And then also like the body language. If I want you to watch this stuff too, because the body language is even more like damning. Like Pete Hegseth is looking at Senator King like this, with the eyebrow up, and then his shoulders shrug. Like, I mean, if you like, it's just a lot of just like, I don't care what you say. Donald Trump got my back. And I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that because it's not like there's no one person, and I don't even care if that person's the president. There's not one person in any of our lives as like regular civilians that could hold us down so much that we could go around beating on people and cheating on people, and it's just that's not something that we could do. So how is it okay for someone that is aspiring to be Secretary of Defense?
To be faithful to your wife. Is that correct?
Run it back. Run it back. Run it back. Run
You've
it back.
taken an oath to do that, haven't you?
Senator, as I've acknowledged to everyone in this committee, not a perfect person, not claiming to
But
be.
no, I just asked a simple question. You've taken an oath like you would take an oath to be Secretary of Defense in all of your weddings to be faithful to your wife. Is that correct?
I have failed in things in my life, and thankfully I'm
answer the
redeemed by
question.
my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
In finalizing divorces from your first and second wives, were there non-disclosure agreements in connection with those divorces?
That's a good question.
Senator, not that I'm aware of.
You wouldn't
If there
know.
were, would you agree to release those first and second wives from any confidentiality agreement?
Senator, it's not something I'm aware of.
But if there were, you would
If you
agree to
were
release
aware,
them from a
would you release them?
confidentiality agreement?
Senator, that's not my responsibility.
Did you ever engage in
What
any
you
acts of
mean?
physical violence against any of your wives?
Senator, absolutely not.
But you would agree with
you
me
can
that if
answer-
someone had committed physical violence against a spouse, that would be disqualifying to serve as Secretary of Defense, correct?
Senator, absolutely not have I ever done that.
You would agree that that
Whoa,
would be
whoa,
a
whoa.
disqualifying offense, would you not?
Senator, you're talking about a hypothetical.
I don't think it's a hypothetical.
No. I gotta ask, right? Is perjury allowed in a confirmation hearing? Is perjury not perjury allowed? Is perjury a thing in confirmation hearings? Because okay, so you can perjure yourself in a confirmation hearing. Perjury during a confirmation hearing is a serious issue and can result in legal, political, and ethical consequences for nominee. Oh, for nominee. But you can't. Can you go to jail? Is there any jail time associated? Because like there should be. Yes. Okay. Yes, there's jail time associated with perjury. No. Is there jail time? Is there jail time associated with perjury during confirmation hearing? Cause okay, yeah. So yes, jail time could be associated with perjury during confirmation hearings, just as it could be just as it could be for perjury in any other context, any other legal context. If the nominee provides false statements under oath during the confirmation hearing, those statements are proven to be intentional lies. The person could face criminal charges for perjury. All right. So that's why they answer the questions. And this is all new to me, y'all. That's why they're answering the questions in this manner because, like you can see, he said absolutely not. Right? Then the next question, he said, "Well, let's just go back. I don't want to."
You would agree that that offense committed. No, I just asked a simple question. You've taken an oath like you would take an oath to be Secretary of Defense in all of your weddings to be faithful to your wife. Is that correct?
I have failed in things in my life, and thankfully I'm redeemed by my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
In finalizing divorces from your first
fighting
and second
perjury
wives, were
right
there
now.
non-disclosure agreements in connection with those divorces?
Senator, not that I'm aware of.
If there were, would you agree to release those first and second wives from any confidentiality agreement?
Senator, it's not something I'm aware of.
But if there were, you
No,
would
he's
agree to release
fighting
them from a confidentiality
perjury.
agreement?
Senator, that's not my responsibility.
Did you ever engage in any acts of physical violence against any of your wives?
Senator, absolutely not.
But you would agree.
All right, so he answered that question clearly. Absolutely not. Right? Have you engaged in any acts of violence against your spouse? Absolutely not. Why wouldn't that be perjury, though?
with me that against any of your wives?
Senator, absolutely not.
But you would agree with me that if someone had committed physical violence against a spouse, that would be disqualifying to serve as Secretary of Defense, correct?
Senator, absolutely not have I ever done that.
You would agree that that would be a disqualifying offense, would you not?
Senator, you're talking about a hypothetical.
I don't think it's a hypothetical.
Right, so
violence against spouses occurs every day. And if you as a leader are not capable of saying that physical violence against a spouse should be a disqualifying fact for being secretary of the most powerful nation in the world, you're demonstrating an astonishing lack of judgment. The incident in Monterey led to a criminal charge, a criminal investigation, a private settlement, and a cash payment to the woman who filed the complaint. And there was also a non-disclosure agreement, correct?
It was a confidential settlement agreement off of a nuisance lawsuit.
Right. During an interview, you claimed that you settled the matter because you were worried that if it became public, it might hurt your career. Do you maintain that you were blackmailed?
Senator, I maintain that false claims were made against me. And ultimately,
your attorney
those
used
false
the
claims,
frame.
I have the opportunity to attest my innocence in those false claims.
But you didn't reveal any of this to President Trump or the transition team as they were considering you to be nominated for Secretary of Defense. You didn't reveal the action. You didn't reveal the criminal complaint. You didn't reveal the criminal investigation. You didn't reveal the settlement. You didn't reveal the cash payment. Why didn't you inform the commander-in-chief and the transition team of this very relevant event?
Senator, I've appreciated every part of the process with the transition team. They have been open and honest with me. We've had great conversations between the two of us. And I appreciate the opportunity that President-elect Trump has given me.
You chose not to reveal this, right? Because you knew it would hurt your chances. So you chose not to reveal this really important thing to the commander-in-chief and the transition team because you were worried about your chances rather than trying to be candid with the future president of the United States. Are there any other?
Yo, it's wild also, like, I'll pause it real quick, but like it's wild also, like, not to be able to reveal, like, being an abuser to Donald Trump. Like, if you abuse women, why can't you just tell Donald Trump that? Like, what's he gonna say? Like, what would he be able to say? Like, don't do that? Like, nah, like, that's, like, oh, word, me too, son. Like, that's, all right, my bad.
Other important facts that you chose not to reveal to the president-elect and his team as they were considering you to be Secretary of Defense?
They knew already, probably.
Senator, I sit here before you, an open book, as everyone who's watched this process.
With multiple non-disclosure and confidentiality agreements tying the hands of many people who would like to comment to us. Much has been made of your workplace behavior as a leader of nonprofit veterans organizations and as a Fox News contributor.
Okay, let's go.
Were you fired from either of the leadership positions with the nonprofits?
I was the leader. I was the CEO of Concerned Veterans for America and the executive director of Vets for Freedom.
Were you fired from either of them?
And I was never fired from a veterans organization.
Do you have non-disclosure agreements with either of those organizations?
Not that I'm aware of, Senator.
How do you not know?
Many of your work colleagues have said that you show up for work under the influence of alcohol or drunk. I know you've denied that, but you would agree with me, right?
Not that I'm aware of, Senator.
Run that back.
Many of your work colleagues have said that you show up for work under the influence of alcohol or drunk. I know you've denied that, but you would agree with me, right, that if that was the case, that would be disqualifying for somebody to be Secretary of Defense.
Senator, those are all anonymous false claims, and the totality
they're not anonymous.
The letters on the record here.
They're not anonymous.
On the record, people
we've seen records with names attached to them. Vets for Freedom, Concerned Vets for America, and Fox News attributing to me being working hard every day on behalf. One of your colleagues said that you got drunk at an event at a bar and chanted, "Kill all Muslims." Another colleague, not anonymous, we have this, said that you took coworkers to a strip club. You were drunk, you tried to dance with strippers, you had to be held off the stage, and one of your employees in that event filed a sexual harassment charge as a result of it. Now, I know you denied these things, but isn't that the kind of behavior that, if true, would be disqualifying for somebody to be Secretary of Defense?
Senator.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw him some bail. There's no verified person that Pete Hegseth has come to work drunk. So I don't know. He said they're anonymous. They're not anonymous, but I can't find a name. So I mean, we're not gonna hold that against them because we don't know if that's true.
They're anonymous false charges.
They're not anonymous. And I'll just conclude and say this to
Say
the
the names
chairman.
then.
You claim that this was all anonymous. We have seen records with names attached to all of these, including the name of your own mother. So don't make this
Ooh.
into some anonymous press thing.
Okay,
We
yeah,
have
yeah,
seen
yeah.
multiple names of colleagues
That's what I said earlier.
consistently throughout your career that have talked about your abusive actions,
Chairman, I think
attitudes,
he's
words,
over
and
his time.
statements
He's
to
way
women.
over his
I
time.
now yield.
Yo, he yielded his time. He's over. He went overtime, and I appreciate the fact that he went overtime because he wasn't playing. Those are real hard hitting questions. I don't think abuse of women and coming to work drunk and saying stuff like do whatever to all of any religious group matters to the people that nominated him and want him to be confirmed. But that was fire. Like, shout out to Senator Kane. Uh, I'm not sure where Senator Kane is from, but yeah, I appreciate that for real. All right, yo, I'm out. Uh, like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that stuff. Also, there's a person that commented on my stuff. I forget what video. Oh, it was the Lord Jamar video. Somebody commented on my Lord Jamar video like, "Yo, you can talk about people without being like insulting or whatever the comment said." And then the last sentence was, "What have you done?" More than you. I'm down to put money on that. So if you feel like you've done more than me, hit my email. Hit my Instagram, Board of Education. That's BORED dot education, and it has two eyes. Yeah, send me evidence of things that you've done, and let's put up a bet. Like if I've done more than you, then you gotta pay me. Cause I'm down. I'm down for that. I'm really down for that. I'm not just some dude sitting behind a microphone. I'm outside, and I'm not trying to be confrontational. I'm just saying, like, you asked me a question, I answered the question. What have you done? I've done a lot. I put it in the comments, but I've done a lot. Like, buy my book, support my nonprofit organization. Shout out to the congressional award that I have won. Yeah, I mean, there's more, but I'm a father of two. My kids, I have an honor roll student and then a baby. I'm married. There's more. There's so much more, but I don't have anybody that would say anything negative about me. That means a lot to me. But to that person that commented, like, you are too invested into hip hop personalities or these people that, you know what? We're gonna make a whole different video. We're gonna make a separate video for you because this one's going sort of far. So the Senate confirmation hearings is what it's about right now, though.